Hello viewers, welcome to the Expert Lecture Series as part of World Space Week 2020 celebrations organized by Satish Dhawan Space Center SHAR. As part of this Expert Lecture Series, a number of lectures are being organized by SDSC SHAR. The first lecture is being provided by Director of the Satish Dhawan Space Center SHAR, Sriharikota, Mr. A. Rajarajan. I will give you a briefing on his activities till now. He is presently the distinguished scientist managing the Satish Dhawan Space Center SHAR, the spaceport of India. Actually, he is a man of composites. Presently, his priorities are improving the launch complex infrastructure for the increased launch frequencies and modification of launchpad systems for the upcoming human spacecraft, that is Gaganyaan. Before taking over Director SDSC SHAR, he has served as Deputy Director of various entities in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Thiruvananthapuram. Before taking charge of Director SDSC SHAR, he was assigned the duty of Deputy Director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Thiruvananthapuram, in various sections like Propulsion and Space Ordnance Entity, Aerospace Entity, Composites Entity. He has extensively worked in the Composites Entity to develop various subsystems of the launch vehicle and the satellite systems comprising of composites. Actually, ISRO has assigned him the task of analyzing the anomaly in the PSLV C-39 launch vehicle mission, wherein the heat shield failed to separate. He has extensively analyzed the reasons and streamlined the processes leading to the manufacture of various pyro systems and streamlined the process such that no other error will occur again. As Deputy Director of Composites Entity, he has developed many composite structures including 5-meter diameter and 10.7-meter height composite heat shield, solar array substrates for various satellite missions. He has completed his BA Mechanical Engineering from College of Engineering, Trivandrum, and joined Fiber Reinforced Plastic Division of VSSC. He has led his team in various capacities for the development of composites which are being used in the launch vehicle programs and including satellites also. To his credit, he has won many awards including ISRO Merit Award in the year 2015, Team Excellence Awards in the year 2010, 2011 and 2015. He has been invited to various symposiums, seminars, as he is a very well-known speaker. He has several national and international publications to his credit. I invite Mr. A. Rajarajan to proceed with his lecture for this day. Thank you.
Hello students, all viewers, a very good morning to one and all. Today, let us look at the topic. For the World Space Week, I have selected a theme like socio-economic developments and the Indian space program. How the satellites improves life in everyday human life. As we go from the first artificial satellite being launched to go around Earth, lot of innovation, lot of technological development has started. As we go further, our pioneers, the great visionaries, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and further Professor Satish Dhawan, has visualized how the satellite technology can be applied to improve the life of the humans. In the coming next 20 to 30 minutes, we will see how satellites and the transportation system to keep the satellites in orbit around us, around Earth, that we call it as rocket. How Indian space program, especially ISRO, has worked to develop all these technologies. It's very, very important that as the technology develops, as our everyday needs goes up, it also helps us to collaborate with all the people in and around us and make use of our life in a better way. So let us see what space means. Space is a scientific pursuit for application with a lot of common sense and a little bit of engineering. That's what we call space. Okay, sound interesting? So that's what ISRO we do. Our mandate, we have taken it upon ourselves to do the space activity for the socio-economic development of the human being. If you see, for this, we have 5 verticals, specifically space transportation. If you want to go to school or you want to go to any other place, there should be a transportation systems, right? So, in order to keep the spacecraft in the particular orbit or in the particular destination, we should have a very good transportation system. That's what we call it as rockets, popularly known as rockets. So, we have a vertical which develops and operationalizes the launch vehicles. That's called under space transportation. Then we have a different sets of spacecraft, earth viewing, remote sensing, communications, navigation, disaster management, weather forecasting. So for all this particular application, we develop payloads and we put it in a spacecraft, and in that spacecraft are being put in the launch vehicle and put in the different orbits. That comes under space infrastructure. Then we make use of some applications, just putting it there in the orbit. We make use of the data. We develop applications, sometimes along with other user departments and other departments. They make use of this and develop app to give you a meaningful applications to the common man. Then, as we develop this, we have to sustain this, so we have a vertical capacity building, and today, to develop we are planning to put human in space. So that's called another vertical, human in space flight. So how do we arrive at all these things? So there is a system. There is government, which we represent, ISRO represents government and interacts with the industries and academia to see, understand what is the market, what is the supply demand, what is the trend, what is the technology. That's what, as we invest in some technology, whether there is any disruptive technology which will say that this technology is no more useful, then the whole investment becomes useless. So in order to take care of that, lot of agencies, government departments helps us in putting a survey, understanding the needs, and then we, on behalf of government, interacting with industry and academia, and we give the products like applications. And for that, the application consists of spacecraft, a transportation system, and applications. So, for this, in ISRO, as you all may be aware, we are situated all across our countries, starting from the inmost tip of India in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, as long as in Dehradun and Northeast in Meghalaya. We have many applications and many centers and units across pan-India to take care of these needs. Today, PSLV, we have launched 50 launches, which includes Chandrayaan-1, Mangalyaan, and IRNSS constellation, which is a navigation satellite. And we have GSLE with the first indigenous cryo, and we had a SARC satellite flown in this launch vehicle. And we have GSLE Mark III, which is capable of 4,000 tons, can go up to 6,000 GTO. And we have launched using this launch vehicle GSAT-29, Chandrayaan-2, and we are planning to make this as a human-rated vehicle to be made as part of Gaganyaan. So far, Satish Dhawan Space Center, we have launched 75 such launch vehicles. Today in ISRO, the space transportation system have a multitudes of vehicles being developed for each one for specific purposes and for technology demonstration and useful launching from whatever already I said about the operational launch vehicles. Along with it, we have a small launch vehicle called SSLV, then we have an orbital reusable launch vehicles, then technology demonstrations, then human-rated vehicle for the Gaganyaan program, then high-rated vehicle which is in study program, and then we have a reusable launch vehicle, just like an aircraft, a space a plane, which will go to space, put the satellite in orbit, and come back. As we develop, we have to innovate. A PSLV vehicle has been, after launching, the PS4 stage will be there for some months. So we want to make use of this platform. We have decided about a platform. That is where the innovation comes in. That fourth stage, after doing its useful life of putting a spacecraft in orbit, it will be revolving around Earth for some few months. So we thought of if we make a platform and give some innovative, those people, entrepreneurs, startups, comes with some exciting ideas. If that ideas are fruitful, and within our own people, there are so many R&D teams going up, if they try to do something, whether that can be put in, if it is worth, and if it is definitely capable of withstanding the launch loads and orbiting around Earth, how to try out such experiments. For that purpose, we have provided a low-cost platform, and with a 3-axis stabilized microgravity stabilization if we can bring in, and some amount of solar power if we generate and put a battery and give some minimum small amount of power, we are trying to do microgravity experiments, the power and telemetry interfaces, some lightweighting of the existing systems, whether it can be done. And what great is, while we did all these things, we are also proved that the PS4 stage is so versatile that we are able to put spacecraft in different orbits. That is the innovation. So we had C-29 with a restart experiment, and PSLV C-34 we had a 2 restart demonstrated, and in PSLV C-35 we demonstrated multi-orbit injections. Now, taking care of the emerging demands of small satellites, because as the technology improves, the satellite mass also comes down. With a very small satellite, with a satellite less than 500 kg mass, we can do similar things which hitherto has been being done by a large spacecrafts. It's just an experiment. It's a trend being captured, and there is a huge excitation in this kind of segments. So towards this, we should have an SSL. We can't put a big vehicle and spend a lot of money. So we developed a low-cost launch vehicle called Smart Satellite Launch Vehicle, which is capable of putting 500 kg in a 45-degree inclination, so that the whole item is released through industries. So it is a low-cost, on-demand launch and a minimum launch pad occupancy. Usually it occupies a launch pad of 30 days and assembly and all those. We want to cut short it within a week's time and launch. So we make use of the existing technology as well as some of the exciting technology which is coming forward, made use of, and all are realized in industries, and try to launch, and hopefully this will come through in the near subsequent months. So what does it mean? So what this transportation system should do? It has to put spacecraft in line, but should be affordable. It should be economical. It should be accessible for all. It should be access on demand, right? Like I am booking a taxi, I am booking an aircraft, ticket, bus. I should have a lot of aircraft running here and there. Likewise, I should have launch vehicle, a transportation system on demand. It should be made available. And there should be the customers will be different. So the launch vehicle should be flexible, and the payloads also should be flexible. So we should have if it is possible, make it as a reusable hardware and then give it as a new space platforms. So, while we are doing this, ISRO has provided Indian space assets of around 19 communication satellites and 3 scientific mission satellites and 8 navigation satellites and 17 Earth observation spacecrafts. Interesting thing is, you can have spacecraft of any hue and size, but based on the demand, based on the people, based on the money, what are the luxury, all those capable, we can have 1-bedroom house, 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house, palatial bungalow, or a flat, or a condo, or a lodge, very small item. Each and every dwellings that you try to live in different parts of India or anywhere, try to make your basic needs is being fulfilled and you go for work, right? That's what we do in living. You people, some of the children will go to many big cities, try to live in a single room lodge or a single room apartment and go on. And some people make even a very 3 or 4 bedroom palatial bungalows or very good houses because the need, it's all being done based on needs. And that likewise, so spacecraft also for the different payloads has different platform buses. We call it as bus. You can have a luxury bus, a standard bus, or a very ordinary bus, fast passenger, superway, express, deluxe, so on, no? Like that. So ISRO also has developed many spacecraft bus platform on which different types of payload can be assembled, like nano satellite bus starting with 10 kg to say 6 tons. It depends upon the payload, what is the power requirement and what is the power required. Each bus, when we say transport in middle bus, it has its own different powers, capability, running at a very high speed, power ratings, engine ratings, what are the battery loadings. Likewise, spacecraft also has different sizes. That's what I have put it here in these slides. Now, basic question after so much talking. Why satellite? What does it do? Why I want? There are so many cables are running, towers are there, I am able to make use of mobile phone and get all these things. Why satellite? Satellite provides multiple options and multiple applications in a single go. Cost effectiveness as compared to terrestrial system. The communication doesn't depend upon the distance. Single space satellite covers a very large area. We can expand the network. And most especially the space-based reference of very high accuracy can be maintained so that your position system can improve. Very large area from a single point. From the ground floor, you can look at hardly 5 to 10 meters clearly. As you go up, you are able to see a much more bigger area. So just imagine if I go to some reasonable height and have very good telescopic systems, or my eyes are really good, we can visualize a large area with single go. That is one of the best issues, and the coverage of landmass, because it helps in understanding the deforestation, habitat, whatnot. We'll see in this one. First is the tele-education. The tele-education, here we have to thank our visionaries. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai is the first person to see what today's people will know as DTH. In late 60s, he conceived how can we bring the information of agriculture and other things to a common man who is sitting in a remote village. How can he visualize the program being telecast in a city or big city? That's called SITE program, which was developed and so on. And we can claim, I don't know whether it's right or not, we are the first people to see the application of satellite as a DTH. Even as earlier, it was demonstrated in 72 near Ahmedabad. The people worked on this, and we had a DTH. That's what we call Krishi Darshan, or whatever we call. The information to the farmers, in what way it can be done, has reached them at that instant. Otherwise, this message being given to the farmers will take months to reach them. Today, that was very instantaneous, and through a television broadcast system, we could have made it easy. So that's called broadcast network, and then interactive network. Today, because of this present pandemic situations, we are able to, all are sitting in their home, doing a mobile and attending classes. The technology was envisaged long back in the remote areas, how to reach the quality education to these personals. So that's how the interactive network system also is possible with the VSAT and based network with UPS backup. It's all provided in many places. So, likewise, like teleeducation and communications, the telemedicines. Imagine India is a vast country, and many people doesn't have access to the hospitals very immediately or to the experts in many fields. So there was a technology developed, the payload, this one. The patients, what does the patients and the doctor at that patient's end request is a stethoscope and a BP apparatus and minimum equipment, and if he can check and he can interact with the specialist, the big hospitals, without the patient going there, he saves a lot of money, because many of the people are day-to-day workers, and this one, they cannot afford to lose 3 to 4 days of work. Those people, this is what we envisage, the socio-economic needs of the human being, and that has been put, and many hospitals of ISRO, ISRO is able to help it out, so that they are reaching out to far-flung areas where the patients requires their need. Based on their diagnosis, those who are really has to come to the hospital for some treatment or thing, and only were given the appointment and done. That's how we are able to do. And there are mobile communication like Chitrakoot, we also be able to do all these ones. Now, communication. There are many, many types of communication satellite, and inside 3D, we had a satellite search and rescue. When ships are going in the sea and they are caught unaware and they are having some distress or this one to be told, they send a signal to the satellite which triangulates and gives the position to the immediate people who can go there and find out, easily locate the people who are in distress in sea, can be felt out. That's what we call search and rescue, which has been done in 3D, 3DR and GSAT-17. And GSAT-6 is a satellite by neighbors for regional cooperation. We are able to communicate with a single system, satellite system. So that are the communication that we carried out in many ways. Now, most important thing is the Earth observation and disaster management. India, if you say the east coast of India, is always prone to cyclone, and there are a lot of cyclone comes with a lot of speed. So how do we monitor this? So what we carried out is we do the cyclone monitoring, the wind energy potential, then we call it as the mining. Is there mining being carried out in many areas? Is there any deviation? You can see from 2007 to 2016 we mapped how the mining is going on. And in digital elevation model, the entire India, the Himalayas and also can be completely digitally we can find out. Then urban planning. How do you plan? We have a drawing plan, but as the construction goes on, how it looks like, so that we can work out the plumbing, mining, drainage system, water flow systems, many things. That urban planning is a very beautiful subject where it requires a lot of data. The satellite system is able to provide that data. Then the groundwater prospects, whether it's really whether water is really available, whether the groundwater has been saturated with water or not, and then wasteland monitoring and flash flood. If somewhere water is growing up, rain is coming up, we can downstream, we have to give a warning that flood that's likely to happen as the river is getting swelling. This is one of the ideas which is possible. I'm just giving a glimpse of what Earth observation and disaster management can do for and help us. Then we are coming to NISR. So far, each nation is trying to do on their own. So there's a time comes when we request a collaboration. So we had a joint mission. We are having a joint mission by NASA and ISRO. We are trying to provide a 12-meter unfurlable antenna, which is for the Indian geological and coastal process monitoring and limited disaster monitoring. So what does this satellite synthetic aperture radar will carry out? It will try to do the crop, the state of the crop and its yield capability, moisture, so on, ice, volcanic eruption. There are many areas which we are trying to develop using this data. What we are trying to do is not that we are giving the end solutions per se. We are giving the basic data available to this, which will be developed by many units in ISRO as well as departments in various government departments which can work and get these data and try to do this. This is called NISAR. It's a collaboration between ISRO and NASA. Now, there are many missions. Chandrayaan-1 is particularly to go around moon, so that we had our moon import probe, and we did. This is actually a quest for knowledge. What is moon? We as a country should know out whether we can reach to the moon and understand what moon has. And what did we do? We are able to identify the presence of water, the lunar crater Newton, and Coulomb sea crater. These are the things which we are able to map. Like people explore and found out South America, West Indies, Australia. Like that, we also are able to map, and we have an understanding how the moon looks. Now, Chandrayaan-2 had a beautiful orbiter as well as a lander and a rover, but the orbiter gave with lot of load. We are able to get lot of scientific data which was available, like Taurus and flame erection craters. Then we had one beautiful satellite, AstroSat, dedicated to the astronomy, and it is now in orbit for the last 5 years, and we had a study of many celestial bodies. Actually, the spiral galaxy, AstroSat captured the spiral galaxy, that's what you are seeing here. And then we had the star formations, WLM galaxy. These are all formed by AstroSat, and that is what scientific missions were carrying out for us. And also, I didn't delve much on Mars mission because it was talked of very much, and it's a wonderful experiment which was carried out. Gave a lot of experiment that we are able to reach up to Mars. Now, as we go, we also should know where is our position, right? For civilian applications, and this one. So we developed a constellation of 8 spacecraft, and we call it as NAVIC, similar to GPS. So with this satellite, we can find out the mobility of the vehicle, mobility of the individuals, so on. We will see the applications, how and all, what are the things possible. So Indian fishing boats, if you have a NAVIC chipsets of some size and smartphone with NAVIC site, we can get the simple Android-based app, and it is available in many languages. And as the fisherman goes for fishing, an alert will come whether he is crossing the international border, and we will also start giving alert like high wave alert and so many other alerts which is pertinent to the fisherman when he is on sea. So these are this one, and we also, by other spacecraft and payload, we are able to know where the fishing zones are available. The fishing zone locations also will be informed through this way of this. Actually, it helps to, it's actually coming to the rescue of fishermen, not only in his day-to-day life of health and this one, also to improve the quality of their life. Now, next one is the marine and terrestrial management. How do you fix? You just tell we take a card, a bus is going through a route. We can understand whether how the bus is running, at what speed from each location, how much time it's taking from each location, and what way it is covered. The whole details of the schedule of one single schedule of bus can be taken up. It actually helps in scheduling the trips. And likewise in Mumbai, just a ship of the Mumbai coast, it is gone to some particular place and come back. How it traversed is clearly can be seen. These are all very important data which can be made use of and given. One important development which we see a concept which ISRO has developed along with user agencies and many departments. You were saying India is having many unmanned railway crossings. It is very difficult to put some automatic level crossing segments because it cannot be manned. It's very difficult, more than 20 to 30,000 mannings of, I don't know, really, we have to look at number of crossing. So, what is the concept we put is, the railway, there will be a sensing systems at the railway crossing with a alarm and a rail engine comes, So, success, what we call is, as we are nearing 2 kilometers from the Manning station or some distance, I am not sure how much, when it comes near, it senses, there is a sensor in the railway crossing GPS location. As it reaches, it will understand there is a railway crossing. It will start giving hooting. And as it nears, the hooting will increase, so that the automobiles on the cartwheel and the people who are crossing the track will be aware that a train is coming, and it can lead to eliminating, or I would say, we can almost, people are aware that train is coming, so that we can avoid any crash. This is what we are trying to prove, and that is being successful. Now Indian Railway is adapting this, so that valuable human lives can be saved. Now, when we do develop all these things, we have to develop the infrastructure also. So, the infrastructure ranges from infotainment to multifunction and so many other things. So, on-orbit servicing, we have to give servicing. It should be 24 hours. It cannot be a limited time. Then nobody is interested. Nowadays, everybody wants 24/7. So, that's how the infrastructure has to be developed. So, what does it mean is, there are so many space infrastructure development trends. So, the new technology which students of you, I would request you to work on is electric propulsion, from chemical propulsion to change over to electric propulsion, to develop small satellites equivalent to bigger spacecraft. It should be robust, and quantum radar technology, quantum technology, the big data management, and harnessing the bandwidths, and repeat it, revisit. Each location I want to see again and again. No, I can't say another spacecraft to come, then only you can see the location is not sufficient. Earlier days it's okay. Now you have to repeat. I want constantly see a location. So repeated materials. Then development of exotic materials. You are seeing sort of movies, right? Like Infinity War and all was with the Avengers movie, body shell nanomaterials, clothes are forming just like that on Iron Man, and all this. Just look at it, whether it is possible with nanomaterials. These are the exotic materials which you have to develop, so that it is called adaptive material, like structural health monitoring. It got damaged, but the material will flow and heal that material. Like our body, when you wound, any cut comes, body heals it immediately, and no trace of that cut is seen. Similar way, whether we can develop materials which, under damage, start self-healing. These are all the interesting things in the new trends which you have to look at it. This will help in developing spacecraft which will be useful for the human being. So, the planetary exploration, where I will come to the origin, it's all interesting quest from origin, where did we come from, and what is our destiny. So, from origin to destiny, and everything in between you have to sustain. So, planetary exploration is a must. We are in a small dot in this grand university. So, water, carbon cycle, energy cycle, what we are made of, what is this universe is made of, all those things can be studied with the help of spacecraft and enrich your knowledge. So, as a further interest, can we look at the exoplanets? Some of the students, some of the people will be knowing about L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 Lagrangian points, which between Sun and Earth rotating around. There are places, vantage location from which you can look at the universe and understand astronomy, the red planet Mars, Venus. We are planning to go there. So many other places are in trend. So towards this, in SJC Shar, we are developing many infrastructure to cater to develop many types of launch vehicle, either from different sets of ideas, whoever comes with ideas and try to see whether spaceport is getting equipped to cater to the needs of diverse requirements. Earlier it was started with competition, then we started coordinating with the people, then we started cooperating, now we are complementing, and now we are cooperating with each other to get the maximum synergy out of each person's capability. So from competition, coordination, cooperation, and now we are in complementing. We should come as an emerging as an effective regional space player, and we are the Indian space industry's base has to play is playing and has to play a significant role in the global arena, not only to the ISRO or anything, to the global arena we can do. Space commerce, So we have to look at now space as a space commerce. The cost effectiveness definitely attracts, and what much more better is the consistent reliability retains the customers, retains the commerce. So I will rather put it like this: space education. I repeat, space education is an important area of interest. And finally, work culture and mutual trust pave way for the cooperation in newer areas. So that's how that is an important area. As rules and commerce and guidelines and regulation comes in each area, here also space cooperation is transforming into a space diplomacy, and new and rules comes. So we should be a responsible nation in space, and so likewise we are signatory to many of these ones, so that we regulate ourselves in doing things which is so that all the players in this world trust us. Now, future challenges to get slot and frequencies. Most beautiful, as I told earlier, like material that is called adapt and adopt state-of-the-art payloads. You cannot say that this payload is already there in orbit that will do only this kind of job. You should be flexible. You should adapt and adapt. Repetitive monitoring, observation of the Earth with more satellites. Usage of NAVIC has to be improved. We should have developed and nurture a very strong space industry base, both developing ideas, knowledge, as well as the production capability. As we put lot of spacecraft in space, the debris management, so many things. So we have to be able to monitor this. So we are developing many payload in SDSR and other things to understand what are the spent stages and debris are available in space, whether our spacecraft can go through these areas without any damage. All those things has to be ascertained, both launch vehicle and spacecraft. So we are developing a network and algorithm to understand which stage, how it goes, and catalog them so that the traffic in the space is known to us. So then we should have a balance between quality, cost, and schedule. We should, as I told earlier itself, the cooperation and domestic need requires balance, and we should effectively utilize the available finance. There's no point in telling that there are so many constraints. Without constraints, no innovation happens. So we should have an effective utilization of the available finances. And first, as a technology development which will open many gates, we should have a long duration stay of human in space missions. Then we should be the first, the best in giving a reliable economic and on-demand access to space. These are the goals these are the future pathways and trends that's there in the space, which students of next generation can take interest in and do well and succeed. What we have gathered in this past 30 minutes, which I would like to sum it up, is make most of the opportunities and bear the following in mind. The most complex scientific applications are based on the simplest of the principles. One should work towards making contribution to the progress of our country in whichever small way possible. We should be able to retain a scientific temper and remain technically inquisitive. It is crucial that one continues to strive to gain knowledge. Please bear in mind, knowledge is the key to success. And which I tell all students, academic brilliance alone is not sufficient. Each one of us needs to possess multidisciplinary knowledge. That it be plumbing, cooking, washing, whatever is the small things. You start developing newer and newer capabilities at your curriculum vitae or whatever is for your human beings' life. As you go towards reaching into the area of working, field of science and working, you have to put in a lot of hours and do a lot of experiments, you should possess multidisciplinary knowledge, jack of all trades, and while being gem in at least one. That is the mantra you should take and try to develop. So, if necessity is the mother of invention, discontent is the father of progress. Wrote by David Rockefeller. How well you are able to imbibe this is up to you. I wish all the best in your future endeavors and all the best in the coming days. Thank you.